Great streets are the lifeblood of great cities. They have the power to foster civic pride and unify communities around shared spaces, while also driving economic development and opening up new transportation options for us. And that's why I've been so thrilled to see so many Chattanoogans share their input and ideas for what has the potential to become our city's next great signature urban space.
Once the light turns green, it's like a rushing river of cars. There it is. Okay. Well, okay, that's better. It's like it changes into a rushing river of cars. Some parts of Broad Street seem like a thing of wonder, and some parts just make you wonder.
These are changing times. We're going to be looking at Broad Street from the aquarium all the way to MLK. It's not just one thing, it's the historic buildings, it's the trees, it's the events, the whole ensemble of Broad Street.
You know, right here in these blocks, it's like Broad Street stands up straight and clears its throat and says, "Here I am." The story. Okay, Margaret, in there tonight, hands on.
Mayor Tim Kelly.
Thank you. Good evening, and thanks everybody for looking. Yeah, like many of you, I've been involved in this work for a long time, and as mayor, I'm now obviously deeply invested in getting this right. This is an incredible project. This is a key corridor for our downtown. And it needs to be and should be so much more than just another city street. And we're incredibly fortunate to have Victor Dover, arguably this country's preeminent urban designer, working on this with us. Thank you for being here. It's an honor to have you here working on this with us. But again, we can't do this alone, and that is why you're here. We are eager to hear from you.
In a charrette, you kind of compress the schedule, get busy people focused, and work until you have some solutions to choose from.
It's a process that never ends, because a great city is a collective work. It's not just a functional utilitarian thing, it's a work of art that we never finish, on which we are all collaborators. Where do you want more pedestrian streets? How many of you who are present tonight participated in the online survey?
Over 1,000 online surveys were received, and the ideas and input shared were very telling, as well as just the sheer magnitude of responses that we received. It really goes to show how important Broad Street is to the Chattanooga community.
Give yourselves permission to imagine a Broad Street with rearranging some of those elements, including the parking. Maybe a little less parking, or a little less space devoted to storing and moving cars, and you will find you have a lot of room to work with to build the great street.
You don't really realize how big 122 feet is until you're out here, but it's really wide. It's not just a street, it's a broad street.
The City of Chattanooga hired an engineering team to do a detailed survey of Broad Street. So what that means is we were able to look at the details above and below the ground. While working on site, in addition to getting out and checking the details of the street, walking up and down Broad Street, hopping on and off the shuttle, visiting Broad Street various times of day and various weather conditions, as we all know, one minute the weather is one way and the next it's quite different. So looking rain, shine, warm weather, cooler weather, how people use the street.
I love the oak trees. These trees provide a lot of shade on a hot day, and then when they drop, you get some sunshine in the winter. Now, you should have led with
Well,
that.
none of us do, Garnet, so we're recognized.
Because we're still going to need parking, regrettably, we're going to lose a lot.
Here's the thing I just found out. Chattanooga's downtown, so a mile of downtown, not per capita, just square acres of downtown, right now has more parking than Dallas, than Houston, and then LA.
Take existing space, create public realm opportunities, create spaces where community can gather, travel safely, and create community in the middle of downtown.
More pedestrian friendly. I'd like to see a lot of trees, green space, art installations, still maintain some parking, maybe one lane of traffic to slow down the traffic. Again, just to make it a much more picturesque, pedestrian friendly street.
To state that public space should include public art.
We put all the bicycles in the middle with some trees there.
As far as like mixed use, we want to add more density downtown, so adding more mixed income, available housing.
So when you're coming down to Broad Street, you're doing multiple activities instead of just coming out for one thing and then leaving.
I'm very, very impressed with the ideas and with the sharing ideas and the togetherness of this evening. Did y'all have fun with the table exercises? Did you like it? Is that your street? It's pretty cool work, and we're really fortunate to be planners that are able to partner with you all on this project. I'd like to thank
Our team of urban designers and town planners were working on site at River City Company's downtown offices. And the purpose of that was to actually be working on the plan in real time in Chattanooga.
Okay, to summarize, there were three big themes from the public meetings. They want it safer, they want it greener, they want it more lively. Well, let's just look at those three big themes or goals one at a time. First, they safer, saner, more welcoming. And the biggest part of that is just making it slower. There are parts of this street where the traffic just goes too fast. There's so much asphalt, there's a clear invitation to driving too fast. And it needs to be more beautiful.
We're the only country that is optimized for car-only transportation. For the last 50 years, it's created urban sprawl, and we have no other forms of optional transit. And so, one part of our city being pedestrian.
It would be lovely.
I like that we have bike paths. This is fantastic. One of the things we don't like is that occasionally people think this is the road.
The bike lane was implemented with all the best of intentions, but the trip hazard of the curb and the in and out movement, there is a problem with how casually people block the bike lane. If in the future the bike lane is connected to a network that gets you around the city, it'll be much more meaningful than it is today. The second one is greener. People said, can you make it less about cars? Can we make it less gray, more green? Can we plant more trees? We heard maybe it should be more like a park with vehicles in it than just another street or a road. And in the summer, it gets hot, so shade is really critical.
A park with a road going through it.
And then third, they said, make it livelier, more bustle, more people around, give people more reasons to come, program the space, add more cafes, more 24-hour life. There's housing growing in all around this area, so keep it coming. More will only help.
It just needs a few more ingredients to make some magic happen in Chattanooga. It's got this beautiful axis with the aquarium, which is iconic for Chattanooga. So it's there. It just needs those little pieces of something to reinvigorate it.
If the sidewalk was just a little bit wider, you can see we could have cafe seating come out in front of these businesses, and you could have an outdoor dining scene on a street like this.
I mean, traffic folks would have one perspective, restaurateurs, I think, would have a different perspective, the tree people have a different perspective, cyclists do,
I think that's
the folks along. People look at all of them and say, oh, yeah.
It's more cumulatively, this would be great. It allows us to have restaurant space out on the street, pre-show events, big crowd control for big shows. I think this would be one for festivals and
for the northern end.
Yeah, that northern end, and be more flexible to have a street market. Extend the Saturday market from the Aquarium Plaza down the middle of Broad Street and put art vendors and people like that in it. And, you know, even shutting it off except for the access to the car shuttles.
It embraces it being an asymmetric street. So you've got movement and a higher level activity on one side. You've got quiet or lower activity on the other side. The people that are living on the park get the park. The people that are living on the street get the street, but they get to share it all together.
One of the reasons I ran for mayor is because I believe that Chattanooga is a truly special city with a super strong sense of place. And this project really has the potential to be the centerpiece for the city. So I'm really excited about what I've seen thus far. It's critically important that we get this right aesthetically, economically, across the board. But I'm great confidence. I'm inspired by what I've seen today from you and your design team. So I'm excited for what's next.